Welcome, wonderful friends, to this very special Valentine's Day set of pick a card readings. I post readings every Sunday. There's always 3 to choose from. We use various packs of cards and runes, and we always draw on some additional guidance. Today we are going to be guided by these 3 beautiful, stunning hearts, each bringing a very different energy into the 3 readings. Now, first of all, just welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are new to this channel, I'm Jenny Florence. This is a channel which brings guidance and support to the spiritual warriors of this planet, namely you guys. Each month, by way of a thank you, I actually I offer a free private reading. I have a draw every month. I give a free private reading and a pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards, the first signed limited edition pack. It's my way of just honouring your pathway and the work that you as individuals are doing when you tune into readings like this and you tune into your higher guides, your angels, the guidance that is available to you to walk that amazingly spiritual pathway that raises the vibration of all of humanity. So my way of giving something back to you, it is a subscriber offer. If you want to be in that draw, you will need to subscribe and also then add yourself to our email list. I will put the link to that in the information box and also into the comments for phone users. Likewise, just a last heads up, this is the last reading before the very first collective prayer of 2021. Astrologically, there's a lot of intense energy around. We're in a build-up to a peak of intensity where there is the potential for an amazing breakthrough on all kinds of levels. And this is going to happen 3 times this year. February the 16th to the 24th, just 2 days away, is the time that I am reaching out and asking people to join me in 1 minute of silent prayer, 7 p.m, wherever you are in the world. That way, wherever you are, if we all hold that 1 minute of silent prayer, that energetic is going to literally travel around the globe. So again, I'm putting much more about that onto the Facebook page of the A to Z of Emotional Health, the A to Z of Emotional Health Facebook page. I'll put a link for that too in the information box and the comments if you want to follow that further. So enough talking away, let's tune into the guidance for these readings. If even by looking at this stone, these crystals, you already know which reading you're being drawn to. There are also timestamps in the comments and information box too, so you can just fast forward to whichever reading you want to be with. So, first of all, reading number 1. Now, this is an amazing little flint, naturally formed piece of flint. It's a flint heart. This is the shape it found itself to be, and this has a very powerful association and resonance for me. I found this flint. It always reminds me of the heart-shaped stone that is sunk into the pathway. It's about 2/3 of the way up the pathway that travels up St Michael's Mount in Cornwall. Now, this is a very sacred place. There are 2 major energy lines that travel across the south of the UK. They travel from Cornwall to East Anglia. One is the Michael line, it's the masculine. One is the female line, the Mary line. And at certain points they cross, and these are called kissing points. And it's at St Michael's Mount is the first kissing point, I believe, in the UK, where these 2 energy lines come in and mix. Halfway up that pathway, if you ever walk it, obviously at the moment I'm guessing most things are shut down, but as and when things reopen, St Michael's Mount is really, really worth a visit. You can walk across to it when the tide is out, but once the tide is in you have to go by boat. But as you walk up the hill, it's like a really old, ancient, cobbled pathway, and about 2/3 of the way up there is a heart-shaped stone sunk into that pathway. And for me, it really symbolizes this pathway to love, this pathway to unity, the masculine and the feminine, the divine masculine, the divine feminine. So very powerful energy of spiritual love, of soulmate connection, of equality, of union and equality. Very powerful energy for reading number 1. Again, flint also has been used and carried as a talisman for protection as well. So yeah, very interesting energy. It feels quite strong, quite direct. I don't know if you guys are picking up on that. Now, reading number 2, we're going to be guided by the energy of carnelian. This is a carnelian heart. Carnelian is a stone of courage. It promotes positive life choices. It brings for me perseverance, resilience. If I'm struggling with procrastination, this stone will see me through. It will help me to get to the finish line, to complete. So there's something about, I think, coming through for reading number 2 to do with either maintaining something, that perseverance, but also maybe in terms of removing any blocks to success in love or to your pathway to love. I think that's definitely coming through, quite a strong message coming through already. I'm sort of hearing it, maybe if you're feeling as though there's no point in, if you're in lockdown and you are longing to meet your soulmate, but you feel there's no point because of the circumstances, I think this stone might kind of give you that extra bit of courage, durability, resilience to make that step, to, you know, join a spiritual dating site perhaps. But one way or the other, there's something quite it's very dynamic, quite energetic, coming through in reading number 2 already. Reading number 3, rose quartz, the purity of love, the stone of love, unconditional love, higher vibrational love, the essence of love. I mean, in terms of the law of attraction, if we are tuned into the energetic of rose quartz, you know, we are love, we can be love, and of course we then attract exactly that, really, in all aspects of our lives, you know, whether it's, you know, a partner we love, you know, a house we love, a career we love, whatever it is. This is about the purity of love, in almost like abundant love in all areas of our lives. So this is the energetic that's coming through for reading number 3. So my friends, I'm going to draw the cards. You may already know which one, or indeed there may be more than one reading you want to tune in with. By all means, sit with me. I know some of you love to sit as I draw the cards too. And if you, again, already know, follow the timestamps and go and listen to those readings. This pack is the Mythic Tarot, and we are going to be drawing 2. And the Nordic Tarot. Two again. And we will draw from the Art of Manifestation cards as well. Again, 2 again. That's what I'm hearing. More shuffling. Yes. And then lastly, I don't think we could do a Valentine's Day set of readings without drawing from the Romance Angel cards. It just would not be complete. They're certainly showing themselves really clearly. Lovely. And of course our runes. Let's see. There we are. Okay. I've just realised, of course, with the exception of the angel cards, everything has been in pairs, hasn't it? We're in couples land here. You know, two of both tarot, 2 of the Art of Manifestation cards, 2 runes, and then just some sort of rubber stamping going on here. Some very profound message coming through in the final angel card. So my wonderful friends, by all means pause the video if you want to spend some time sitting with these readings to decide which one is right for you. I do know sometimes people listen to more than one. It can really sometimes enhance, the messages can really enhance one another. But yeah, pause the video, or if not, simply fast forward to whichever one is speaking to you the most. And so, my wonderful friends, happy Valentine's Day. So much love to you all, and I will see you in the readings in just a moment. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 1 with this beautiful, beautiful flint. It does feel like a protection, a talisman of good luck, and of really moving upwards towards some kind of spiritual connection, a spiritual crossing of paths. Let's have a look and see. Okay, so we have the rune of joy, but it's in reverse. And we have the rune of strength. I think this is calling you to persevere. It may be that you're feeling either despondent or that you can't see a way forwards, hence that sense of protection, but you are being shown that pathway. It's that uphill pathway. And sometimes an uphill pathway is quite steep. Let's see what the cards are showing us. What I will say before we turn the cards, I may be able to shift, we may shift some of the energy. I often do that in readings. If something's in reverse, sometimes it's right that it's in reverse because it's kind of asking us to slow down. It's saying, look, joy is a fruit-bearing rune. If it's in reverse, it may be asking you not to try and rush something, to take your time with something. The rune of strength, I always feel it's as though the universe has your back. It means you're on the right track. So, and I'm really seeing that uphill pathway, which kind of winds its way. It's quite zigzaggy because it's steep up that mount, up Mount Michael, Michael's Mount, St. Michael's Mount. So it is that sort of, yeah, I am seeing that zigzagging pathway. There are places you can stop and rest along the way. I'm seeing that really, really clearly. It's as if I'm walking up that pathway. So there's something here. Maybe you're needing to take your time. Let's have a look and see. So 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups is about choices. Sometimes it can literally feel as though 7 of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, it can literally feel as though, it's that sort of, sometimes there's too many choices to make, or we're worried about making the right choice. We're worried. That's what I'm really hearing most clearly. It's almost as though you're fearful of making the wrong choice, of making a mistake in some way. Queen of Pentacles, I want to say look after yourself. We have the Magician, Mastery, and here we have the Devil, Boundaries. The Magician, this is mastery over yourself. This is your own ability to manifest, your own ability to draw into your world those things you want. Interesting here, we have take time out, internal dialogue, and very soon. I love that. Yes, perseverance is, I'm going to move these along. I think we're just going to do one long row of cards today. So, there's a really clear message here. Firstly, I want to focus on very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. I feel as though there is some anxiety here about whether or not you're going to make the right choice. Now, the reality is when we meet someone, for some of you, you may already be right at the beginning of a new relationship. You may already be meeting someone, or you may be deciding whether or not to make that next commitment, to take it up, up a peg, as it were. It may be for some of you that you're just deciding whether to jump back into the dating game. Yeah, it may be even a reconciliation for some of you. Will you come back together? Is it going to be worthwhile? Now, what this reading is really saying is, what do you actually want? So give yourself permission. I want to say to stop worrying. 7 of Cups, there's definitely an anxiety around making the right choice. I think Queen of Pentacles, it's like, for me, this is the card of self-care. She knows how to look after herself. She looks after her physical well-being. She looks after herself, mind, body and soul. She knows that it's appropriate to take time out. Give yourself permission to stop. Sometimes we just need to slow down and rest up. And yet so often we keep on pushing and pushing, even though there are clear signs that we should stop. Taking time out now will allow you to replenish your energy and return revitalized and with an abundance of focused energy. This is what you need to do. I think if we are tired, we start to worry. Worry can be exhausting in itself. I think it lowers our energy levels. Likewise, if we are tired or we're trying to push for something and it isn't happening, then actually simultaneously we can also feel as though choices then become harder. We worry about them more. Now, this is really interesting for me, the Devil and the Magician, because for me the Devil is a card of liberation and freedom. Yes, it can imply that there are things that we are concerned about. It can sometimes even imply addictions. But the key to this card, I think, it's interesting they use the term boundaries. The key here is to do with the recognition that if we are limiting ourselves, it's because we are limiting ourselves. We can climb out of the cage. There's like an imagery here of an owl in a cage, but the door is open. We can free ourselves. And for me, there's something in the Devil about being your authentic self, allowing yourself to be you, allowing yourself to believe in your desires. And this, the Magician Mastery, this is a card that says, what do you want? What do you want to manifest very soon? Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. I feel this reading is really applying to any number of different situations. It's a generic reading, of course, but there's also something about some kind of internal dialogue within you that is almost interfering in your capacity to manifest the thing you desire. And there's a concern and a worry, and it's almost as though that worry has become your dialogue, in essence, rather than your worry just being a fleeting thought which you can listen to, engage with, and later rest knowing that it's appropriate to be cautious, to take your time, to consider things, to listen to the way that you feel about things, but not to hold you back. There's a difference really between becoming, really involved in habitual ways of thinking. Internal dialogue. We all have an internal dialogue within our mind, a constant stream of inner conversation. Is your dialogue kind, supportive and affirming, or is it critical and judgmental of both yourself and others? This card asks you to listen to your inner words and, if necessary, take steps to consciously change your language. Thoughts create things. Words carry power. If that internal dialogue is, again, going over and over things in a way that it's potentially sending a message into the universe that's loaded with what you don't want rather than what you do, it's very important to shift that perspective. I am going to shift some energy in this reading, actually. I would like to celebrate these two cards here. And I'd like to celebrate you being your authentic self, letting go of any limiting beliefs, listening to your internal dialogue. Take the time out to pause, press that pause button, listen to yourself. Because it feels as though the universe has your back. This is a talisman, it's a protection. And yes, that pathway is a steep pathway, but there are places along that pathway where you can sit down and rest and contemplate and look at the view. And indeed, there are some amazing viewpoints on the pathway that I've tuned in with this stone. And so, yeah, take your time. Take time out. If you're having a wobble, if decisions are needing to be made, don't rush. You can have what you want very soon. The universe is saying you're on track. What you desire is right and appropriate. What you need to do is to get clear about what you want and your entitlement to have it. I think it's almost as though the rune of joy is sitting here, because when we turn it into the upright position, which in fact, just tune into the energy here for a moment, just sit with how you feel. What I'm going to do actually, I'm going to shift. So we have this beautiful flint talisman. I'm going to move it here and sit it next to the rune of joy, and I'm going to shift that. I'm going to create a partnership here. The universe has your back. The universe supports your growth. The rune of joy in the upright position, it's a new dawn. It's out of darkness into light, carried across the gap by the wings of heaven. It's that spiritual. I'm really hearing that as well. There is spirit, your guides, they are with you. They are walking with you. They are willing you to have that something, that love that you desire. They are absolutely willing you to have this. What they are also saying is you need to clear the way for their help to arrive. They wish to support you up that pathway, but you need to actually make sure you rest up and remove any inner blocks, any disbelief about this. This is time for you to manifest your desires, and what I feel is that the universe is going to be very responsive very quickly to you if you pay attention to yourself, if you listen, if you open yourself to be available to receive the love and the guidance and the support to bring you exactly that which you desire, the love that you desire. So whether this is an existing relationship that needs to shift itself forwards, or a relationship that moves to a greater level of commitment or stability or resolution, or even a return, or indeed it's you stepping into a place where you are available to start that brand new journey of seeking love. Wherever you are on that pathway, it's time to put down the worry and the fear that you might make the wrong decision. Let that go, put it behind you. You are free to be yourself, and it's in being yourself and celebrating yourself, removing any internal dialogue that where you are harsh or critical of yourself from previous experiences. It's time to stop that. Take out as much time as you need. Rest along that pathway. Support is around you, and then very soon, as soon as you clearly decide to be you and you focus on what you desire, I believe a great deal of support will be offered to you in making that manifest. This is a lovely, lovely reading for our first Valentine's reading. Wonderful friends, happy Valentine's Day, and yeah, I wish you all the love in the world. So much love. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 2 with the amazing energy of Carnelian, bringing resilience, durability, overcoming procrastination, getting you through to the finish line. Let's have a look at our runes. So we have the rune of possessions, of nourishment. This sometimes means you need to nourish the ground for your own deliverance. It can also sometimes indicate unexpected rewards and surprises. So it's interesting, and it can also say share your good fortune too. And we have the rune of journey. This is interesting because it can sometimes suggest that we journey inwards. We remove any inner obstacles to our pathway of success. It can, however, also indicate travel. Let's have a look at our cards. So we have 10 of Cups, 6 of Pentacles. I mean, this is a card, I mean, it's the card of love, contentment, marriage. It's that long-term relationship that brings everything you could possibly have desired. 6 of Pentacles, there's forgiveness around here. Generosity, card of charity. The Knight of Pentacles, card of patience. So there's a need to persevere with something here. Okay, this is interesting. So it's okay not to be okay. This is all about perseverance, of course. Dislike of others, and then stay optimistic about your love life. Okay. I feel that for some of you, you have lost something, or something has taken place. It feels as though something, either you have lost someone, there was a breakdown of a relationship, you thought you had that. I think you thought you had it all, and it doesn't mean that you haven't. But I think for some of you, genuinely, you thought you had it all and something has changed, and that's left its mark. Now, for some that may be recent, for others it may be, you know, going back in history, but it left its mark in some way. There's a need to find some kind of forgiveness, some kind of resolution through this. You're needing to move through something, to journey through, to remove any inner blocks. You know, there's something about this traveling. Now, this is curious, the charity, generosity. I think in this instance, this card is actually speaking of generosity of spirit. It's generosity of mind. I feel as though quite strongly that somewhere in historically, it could be relatively recent or way further back, you got hurt. You thought that you had found everything you wanted to find, and you still know what you want. I mean, that's the real positive. I'll come back to this, I think, in a moment, but actually, no, maybe I'll talk about it right now. So, because it affects the way these cards are flowing. Now, if we have an experience of something that we don't want and we don't like, in a way, we can sort of dwell on that, especially if really we wanted to be with someone and it didn't work out for whatever reason. Now, really, in a way, we need to still, rather than dwelling in what we haven't got, we need to use that experience to sort of launch a rocket of desire into the universe to tell us what we do want, because I think you still know what you want. There is disappointment. There's either, for some of you, it's not even a big ending of a relationship. Interestingly enough, I think for some of you, there has been a hiccup in the relationship. Again, maybe you've moved from that state of blissful in loveness and you've started to see that person as a real person. And maybe there's some disappointment. Somebody let you down. There's something around that anyway here. Charity, generosity of mind, patience. It's okay not to be okay. When we feel low or have challenging emotions, we often then feel bad about feeling bad. This effectively doubles the emotional load. This card asks you to understand your difficult feelings as guidance, highlighting that something needs to change and that you are entitled to seek support in this. It's really important to just tune in with this because, again, dislike of others. Sometimes we form strongly negative feelings towards others. In truth, it's not them that we dislike, but their words, actions, and behaviour. This card asks you to try to detach from the experience of their behaviour and see them as a soul on their unique pathway, attempting to manage their own challenging life lessons. What I feel is something has happened. It's either, as I said, it's either current, recent, or, you know, way back in the past, but something went wrong, something has gone wrong, and you're being asked to shift your perspective here so that you're not dwelling in that space of sort of resentment and loss and negativity. Stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. Now, again, durability, resilience, the ability to overcome difficulties, to find our way through some difficulty. That's the energy of carnelian. It helps us to promote positive life choices. The rune of nourishment, possessions. It is interesting because I wonder with Journey whether there is an indication in this partnership here that says actually something has to be let go of, something has to be left behind. It could be possessions. The interesting thing is, it may not be. It may be an attitude or a resentment within you. One way or the other, something needs to be cleared so that you are free to move forwards and re-engage with the thing that you desire the most. Stay optimistic about your love life. It's quite interesting. I feel like this is almost like a train. I don't know how better to describe it. It's like an energetic flow going this way. And what's curious is, I think if the forgiveness, the generosity of mind, patience, perseverance can come through, managing your own feelings towards both yourself and others. I mean, understanding your feelings. If somebody hurts you, it's appropriate to be distressed. It's appropriate to feel angry. But that anger can be turned into motivation and passion. It's kind of like, actually, right, I now know what I don't want, so I can see, that helps me to define what I do. And the reason I'm using this analogy of a train is because what I find myself wanting to do, and I think this is going to shift the energy here, it's kind of like, so this is where you started from, and something happened, and this is sort of suggesting that you work through something, you process something. That's your journey, of course, that's your journey. Again, the train analogy, of course. But then what happens is that this dream that was sitting, you know, right at the beginning of this journey, actually, in shifting this through, it moves to the head of the train. It's like the carriages shift this way. This is where I'm at with this. And then this card sits here. So instead of it being in the past influencing the way you are now, you've processed this. This is the journey. And then you arrive at a space where this becomes the new dream. This becomes your desire. And you know what you want. And you are in a place of replenished faith, positive life choices, and that self-belief that comes with your long-term goals and vision. So there's a shift required here, and it is to do with the past. That's what I'm seeing. Wonderful friends, the energy of carnelian is magnificent. If you're able to, you can even tune back into this reading and just focus for a little while, or press the pause button. Focus on the carnelian heart. If you are meditating, focus in on it and see if any clear messages come through to you. I do feel there is literally the possibility of shifting something that was almost like a dream of the past that you believe wasn't possible, to creating, it's almost like the new normal, isn't it? The new dream of the future, which has aspects and components of your previous dreams, but it's now bigger and better because you are older and wiser. You know, that's the journey. Wonderful friends, it actually does feel remarkably optimistic, you know, given that this aspect here of, you know, it's okay not to be okay. It's the emotional aspect that's clinging, but actually these are pretty healthy feelings. This is about you processing that experience and moving beyond it. And in doing so, literally, you become free to your dreams and desires can head up that train, head to the top of the train and be carriage number one again. Wonderful friends, thank you so much for joining me. I am sending you all the love in the world on your journey. So much love. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 3, and here we have that extraordinary pure energy of rose quartz, unconditional love, that vibrational, higher vibrational love in all aspects of your life. I just think abundant love is really, for me, what comes through with rose quartz. Let's look at our runes. So we have the rune of gateway and we have the rune of flow. Now this is suggesting that you are potentially needing to make a choice or a decision, and it's a decision that requires review or evaluation. I say making a decision, it's not just there could be a choice involved, but the rune of gateway is big, really. It's a point of stop, review, cast your mind back, look at where you are, look at everything that's brought you to where you are today, look at the learning, lean into a space of gratitude for who you are and who you've become, and step through the gateway. So it's like a new phase of life. It's a definite demarcation, that's what I'm being shown as well, of a new phase of life that is going to be flowing into being. So it feels like quite a pivotal turning point, actually. So what do we have? 3 of Pentacles. This is a card of celebration. Again, this can mean resources coming to you, and this could be resources as in energy. It could be, I would venture to, you know, it could be an engagement, or there's something, some form of celebration. Queen of Swords, wow, Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, growth, mentor, course correct, leadership, engagement. Right, this is really interesting because I was thinking engagement here. 3 of Pentacles, it can mean it's a celebration, but it's a celebration point. It's a celebration where something comes together. If you've met someone, you decide to become exclusive. If you've or indeed whatever other format you want your relationship to be, but you cement it in some way. That's what the Queen of Swords is saying as well. It is this making a decision. It's a consolidation of something. You come together, you decide to live together, or you decide to live separately but be together. Whatever your decisions, whatever that is for you, it's a coming together. There's a unity here, but a decision is needing to be made in some way. Course correct. Now this is the pause. This is the gateway rune. If an obstacle or diversion has interrupted your plans, this card is here to assure you that the delay is providential, bringing you an opportunity to pause and reassess in order to fine-tune your direction. Take charge, my dear friends, take charge. There is an offer of something. that is imminent or around you. Now, you either know about it already or it's about to happen. You need to take charge of this. You're going to need to, it's going to mean making an adjustment in your life because it's a big change. Engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. That was really coming through very strongly. Whatever shape you want that to be, take charge of it here. There is an offer or a something taking place around you. If it hasn't yet happened, I think it's going to. And within that, yeah, you are going to need to be clear about what you want. It is going to mean adjustment, basically. You know, it's going to be adjusting. You're going to, you know, if we do decide, for example, to live together or to get married, you know, however much we celebrate that, if we decide to have children, if we, whatever the shape of our world, when we make a commitment in a different way, some aspect of our lives changes. And therefore, it's a pivotal moment where we leave something behind and we step through that gateway into the new. You are flowing into a new space of being. And this is completely right for you. The love that is flowing here is amazing. It needs to support you. That's what I also hear. There's a need to be able to enter this space of greater commitment with a clarity. It is going to change something in your life significantly, but in the process of this, and this is this Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles energy coming through, growth and mentor. Whatever this relationship is that's around you, I want to say this step is the right one. So if you're having any wobbles, I think this step is the right one. But also consider it. It's like, again, this is so fascinating what's coming through. The terms and conditions, Queen of Swords. You need to negotiate this. That's why we have the Rune of Gateway as well. This is the right decision for you, but it needs to be negotiated. As a counsellor, I worked as a counsellor for many years. I know a lot of you will know that. And I did a lot of couples work. I loved working with couples. I always found it absolutely wonderful, just wonderful work to have both people present and to be able to hear them both and, you know, often open a pathway of rediscovery in some way of one another. But what I used to say to them is, you know, when we meet people and we fall in love, we often get together. We don't necessarily define the terms and conditions of that contract. You know, it's like a relationship is a kind of a contract. If we go and we set up a professional relationship, we do define the terms and conditions. We set them out. We know what the job description is. So we therefore know whether we can meet it. And then if we don't meet it, we can work out how we can sort that out, how we can fix that, or what we're going to do. In personal relationships, we very, very rarely define that contract. Now, I know that sounds a bit clinical, but, you know, Queen of Swords here coming in. Actually, if we are clear about what we want, again, leadership, if we are really clear about it, we are less likely to run into difficulties later. But I had a conversation just a few days ago with somebody about something very similar to this, and I was talking about, it was about a very, very dear friend who she had met, you know, the love of her life, and because he loved football, she had told him how much she loved football too, because she just desperately wanted to be with him. So, and she used to go to football matches with him, and then once they kind of got engaged and then got married, she didn't really want to do that anymore because football isn't really her thing. And he was really disappointed. He was saying, well, you know, I want her to be, she's changed. I want her to be the person, you know, that I thought I'd met. Actually, the real change was that she needed to be more direct and more honest in the first place. I think, you know, ultimately when they got together and talked about it, they navigated their way through it and they found a way of meeting in the middle. She would go sometimes and love every minute because she liked watching his enjoyment. But she would also sometimes take time not to go and do something else for herself. But they navigated through it, but they had to sort of take an ownership of these terms and conditions in order to do it. It's a bit of a long-winded story, but you know, I'm sure you get the drift. It's about being able to say, look, this is what I love, this is what I don't love, but you know, this is what I want to do, this is what I don't want to do. You're being called into a place of leadership and clarity. And the invitation is that the other person does the same. And everything is going for you here. It feels as though there's going to be a celebration, an engagement, a higher level of commitment within partnership. Wonderful. You are flowing into a new way of being in life. What this is saying is, yes, adjustments will be made because that's part of flowing into a new phase of life. However, within that, be direct, be honest, and support the other person in the same way, because actually this is how you're both going to grow together. I have to say, this to me looks like a really, really powerfully flourishing soulmate union in which there is a huge capacity for an abundance of love. So whatever needs to be navigated and negotiated, do it with joy, take charge. Again, we all lead by example. Our words and actions presenting a role model we come into to everyone we come into contact with. This card asks you to take an ownership of your personal leadership qualities and to align your thoughts, words and actions with everything you wish to see in the world. This feels for me like a very conscious relationship. That's the level of potential here. I think this is genuinely a soulmate connection, and it's one that could potentially have higher purpose, but within it, the scope for personal growth, support, love, immense love is huge for both of you. This really is flowing into a new phase of life. It's lovely reading number 3 to come into this space of culmination, but it really does feel as though there is going to be a pivotal turning point of a different level of commitment. If that isn't around you already, I think it's going to be around you soon. This is gorgeous because for me it contains it's a higher level of consciousness within relationship. It's not just a falling in love, you know, that wonderful love vibration we get when we fall in love. It's more than that. This has heightened awareness and deep, deep, deep connection. It's absolutely beautiful. Wonderful friends, sending you all the love in the world. So much love. Namaste.